Hello everybody and welcome to a new Railroad Tycoon 3 scenario video. This one's a bit different because, not for any particular reason, it's just a bit different because whilst this actually comes with the Coast to Coast expansion, unlike pretty much every scenario I've ever played and recorded, I've never played this one much. That is to say, I've played it a bit, struggled and gave up. It's Spanish Mainline. It comes with the Coast to Coast expansion, so it's made by the game makers. However, two things to note. One, it's entirely possible that when they made Coast to Coast expansion, it wasn't given the due care and attention it deserved, and the same level of care and detail as the base game in terms of campaign and the scenarios, which as far as I know are all fine / mostly bug free. There may be a few bugs here and there, but for the most part they're fine. And I've played through most of those. I played through all the campaign before. I haven't recorded all the campaign, but I played through it at least, and it seems fine. Scenarios, there's the ones I've not recorded. I'm sort of putting them off. I will do them eventually, but simply because they are very difficult. I haven't yet figured out how to do them. I do also believe that Germany may well be bugged. I remember reading somewhere that there's a bit of a bug to that, meaning that gold is basically impossible. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. But from my recollection, the best I ever got on that Germany was silver on expert. So I'll probably record that eventually. Just I've got no plan to do so. But the point is that this is a scenario I've never seen to the end, as far as I can remember, or at least if I have, it was ages and ages ago. So yeah, Spanish Mainline, 1876. We are playing on expert. Because I'm a moron. But mainly because everything on my channel is on the hardest difficulty. Because I'm a moron. 1876 is when we start. And there are no AI. Which is kind of interesting. But again, this is a very difficult scenario. May even be impossible. I don't know. I just kind of want to see what's going to happen. So I guess if you're watching this, I didn't just delete the video in anger and frustration. But yeah, I guess discussion over. Introductory pre-warning over. Let's get into the scenario. So Spain was continually being torn apart by civil unrest for well over 100 years. After the collapse of the First Republic in 1876, when we begin, newly appointed King Alfonso XII was desperate to see Spain rise up in European prominence once again. Lagging behind in the Industrial Revolution well underway in the rest of Europe, there was one logical person to turn to, Alphonse Rothschild of the French branch of the Rothschild Bank. Now, Alphonse Rothschild has turned to you. You must establish railway service and new industries in Spain and help the country build a strong industrial foundation. Bronze. Connect Madrid to Barcelona by the end of 1901. So that's 26 years. Silver, or 25 years, again depending on when the scenario technically ends. It does say end of 1901, so that would imply 26 years. Silver, meet the above conditions and have industry profit of 4 million by the end of 1901. Gold, all of the above conditions but have an industry profit of 8 million by the end of 1901. Sounds simple, right? No. As you'll quickly realise, there's actually fuck all in the way of economy in this country at this precise moment. So Madrid's Barcelona and 8 million in industry profit. How hard can it be? Special conditions. After 5 years, that is to say January 1881, you will be charged $150,000 annually to pay back the Rothschilds. If at the end of a year where you do not have $150,000 cash to pay, you will be in default of the charter. If you default 6 times, your charter will be revoked and your company liquidated. And therefore, game over. I don't know if we can build unconnected track it doesn't say we can't, so I'm going to assume we can. And I'm not sure about multiple companies. One would assume that we can't. So basically, after 5 years, if more than 6 times we don't have 150,000 in cash to pay, it's mission failed. That actually sounds really brutal, because quite a lot of the time, I don't have $150,000, so I'm going to have to make sure that in December I'm going to have $150,000. First 5 years, it's not too bad. But we need to make a profitable company, ideally, in the first 5 years. Or we just sit and do nothing for 5 years. But obviously then, you still got to pay $150,000 and it's going to be harder. Okay, I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to play this. So, rotate the map the correct way would be a good starting point. I don't know whether to play this in terms of just going for industry or actually building a railroad. Madrid is over here. There's also a shitload of trees on this map, I'm just seeing. Madrid is over here. Barcelona's over there. So it's not exactly far. But there are a lot of trees, and it does seem to be quite hilly. I can't build tracks, we don't have a company. This is the problem. There is nothing, absolutely nothing on the map. Okay, sure, there's 368 loads of passengers and 130 loads of mail. No alcohol, no ammunition, 10 clothes, 15 coal, 1 goods, 5 grain, 3 iron, 15 lumber, 9 meat, 16 milk, 2 paper, 12 produce, no steel, 32 troops, no weapons, 46 wool. So, I think you can see the problem. There's not really a lot. Which leads me to the conclusion, this may well be impossible. Fortunately, for bronze, we only have to connect Madrid to Barcelona. Which, in and of itself, shouldn't be too hard. The question is, where do we start? Do we start in Barcelona and connect to, like, Lleida, which is actually going to be quite nasty. Let's just create a company first things first. Could go with Bull, because we are in Spain. I have no idea. I quite like that, but I don't know. No, that's better. I like that. I think I quite often go with this logo. I have no idea what to call ourselves. So, for the sake of convenience, let's just call ourselves Spanish Rail, because I'm boring. At least we start with 1.65 million. 1.64 million. Right, so, I guess, unlike Iceland, we don't need to focus on net worth, so we can get rid of all this. And we can issue some stock. Just to give us a bit more money. But yeah, Barcelona could be a good starting point. I say there's the most cargo in Barcelona over any other city, but that's not really saying much. Because, I mean, there's still not really much in Barcelona at present. So there's two ways to go about this. We either buy some profitable industries, if I can find any. In terms of territory, we start in Spain. We've got access to Spain. We have access to Algeria, though there's seemingly nothing in Algeria. Are there actually any industries in Algeria? I mean, obviously we don't have to lay track, but if there was an industry, we could buy like a farm in Algeria, but it's just sort of there for their sake. This would be like Majorca, I'm guessing. Although there's nothing there besides a load of trees. There's not even like a house or anything. Portugal costs 500,000 to get to. But again, there's not really a lot in Portugal either. So probably going to ignore Portugal. And then France costs 1 million. And there are actually some fairly big cities in France, but unless it's just a lot of passengers, there's no industry. So again, I don't know if this is possible. I don't even know if this is bugged. All I know is that this comes with the coast-to-coast expansion. I don't know what kind of events there are. This is basically a blind playthrough. I think I played this for like 15-20 minutes, like maybe 10 years at best. I don't even know if I was playing on medium or expert, and I just kind of got bored because I think I found it too stupidly difficult. There's a port in Barcelona that supplies lumber, which is actually demanded at the weapons factory, and it also supplies paper, which is demanded in the commercial building. And there's also a commercial building. What's that? That's just a small commercial building. There's sort of commercial buildings all over the place. Demands alcohol, which is produced here, all over the place, but it needs produce, and there's no produce anywhere nearby. Nearest produce is around here. Seville has 3 distilleries for some weird reason, and I'm willing to bet that none of them are profitable. No, they're not. Yeah. What about farms? There are 46 loads of wool. Are any of these farms profitable? Is it even worth buying them? Maybe. So maybe we just start with farms and go all out in terms of farms. Because it doesn't look, at least, like any of these industries are going to make money. We've found out that these aren't. Because there's only 5 loads of grain and 12 loads of produce, so I can't see any of these actually making any money. If we look in terms of what is making money, not a lot is the simple answer. Yeah, so I think we could hypothetically, though I don't think we have enough, build a textile mill, because this textile mill is making money. The problem is, of course, if we buy this for 1.6 million, we have 184,000 left. Assuming this makes $250,000 each year, then after 5 years we'll have 1,434,000, I think. Because we've made 1.25 million plus 184,000 we already had. I think that's 1.434 million. Which is actually good, but that's assuming that it continues to make $250,000 each year. And that's a big risk. Can we take out bonds? We can take out bonds. So we could buy this textile mill, because that's actually really good value. If that makes $250,000 and it's only 1.6 million. But the guarantee, of course, there is that we're assuming that all this wool will make it to the textile mill. There's another textile mill in Madrid that is not making as much money, but it's only 750,000. Is there anything else that we could buy that might make money? I'm just thinking, if we spent all our money on a textile mill, then obviously we've got none left, and it's a bit risky if it doesn't make any money. So, I'm going to save the game. I'm going to create a new video part. Whoops, Spanish Mainline Expert Let's Play. So I guess, if you really want to, just don't watch this video. Well, I don't mean it like don't watch my videos, they're really boring, but I just mean this particular part is kind of just an introduction because it's still January and I've not really done anything. But yeah, I'm going to stop the recording now and create a new part. So, part 1 will be like an introduction, and then part 2 will be me actually doing things and trying stuff out. Hopefully something works.